honesty is not something, especially honest about something that may be negative, is not going to hold you back.
Yeah.
It's not going to necessarily hurt you. And so you speak to it directly. How have you seen it play out now with you creating the Dyslexic Hustle? Like, what is the Dyslexic Hustle about, and why did you title it that?
Yeah, so the title, my son, co-founder of Dyslexic Hustle, he helped me come up with the name. I work hard, we hustle. And I think, we talk about this, is you're going to have to work harder. And I have a saying, it's like, don't do your best, do what's required. And because if your best isn't enough to accomplish the job, then you need to learn more to do what's required to do the job. Because my son's 18, he just got engaged, and he's trying to get off on his own, and he's still got kind of a gap between where he is and where he needs to be financially. And it's like, hey, you're making a commitment to do this, so if that's your best, you have to learn more skills so that you can do what's required. And it's not like, hey, you suck, and it's like, but there's a deficit, and you need to fill in the deficit so that you can be successful in the things that you said you wanted to do. Sorry, say the question again.
No, yeah. You're good. I just strategically, the title was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're using the title appropriately and correctly.
Yep.
And I just want you to keep elaborating, and maybe I'll ask another question, right? Because you went down this path of like, that statement. Say that statement one more time.
Don't do your best.
Don't do your best.
Do what's required.
Do what's required. Okay. How has that affected? You were using your son as an example of like, he's committing his life to this lady, and they're going to get married. And he's not necessarily there yet to be able to provide for her.
Yep.
So don't do your best. Do what's required.
Yep.
Okay. This is what you want, a healthy marriage.
Yep.
Do what's required.
Yep.
Be able to provide.
Yep.
Okay. No one is doing that these days. I think we settle for our best.
Yeah.
Now, what if someone says, "Well, isn't my best enough?"
I mean, it just depends on what you want. It depends on what you want. Potential is just that. It's just potential. And so if you're going to, you don't necessarily have to reach your full potential. John Mayer. I think John Mayer is one of the people you said you wanted to interview, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, either way.
I'm down.
But John Mayer there was this interview about him drinking. And he wasn't like an alcoholic, I don't think. But he just talks about, he's like, I realized that if I wanted to, I had to make a decision. This was him talking. He's like, I had to make a decision. Did I want to be 100% of who I could be? Or was I okay with just part, 60, 70, 80%? And he decided that, no, I want to be 100% of who I can be. And for him, alcohol was going to prevent him from being the best guitar player, music writer, storyteller that he could be. And so he decided that he wanted to reach his full potential. Very few people do that. I have the ability to have a six pack. I do not have a six pack. I talk to Matthew about it all the time.
Yes.
But I know what it takes to get a six pack. I'm just not willing to do what is required to get a six pack. And so I think people, you just have to determine, where do you want to be? What do you want? And I'm always very careful in the conversation too. So people out there watching, with my son, is if, like all young guys, man, I want a cool car, and I want this, I want that. And it's like, well, that's awesome. But, first off, that's not the first sign of success. That's not what success is. Success is provide, protect, take care of your family. That's what success is. Raising people who, are trust God, having a good family, keeping your family together. That's what success is. But if you want the other things, if you say, hey, I want $1 million thing or $1 billion thing, that's really difficult. And and you just have to be real about what that means. And pretending like it's easy is not going to help you get there. So if you want to build $1 million thing or $10 million or $100 million thing, you just need to have realistic expectations of what that means. And going back to the name, it's like, it's a lot of hustle. It's a lot of work. And, in a lot of these things that I love podcasts and I love YouTube, I love audiobooks. And so a lot of the concepts and principles that I have are just taken from a lot of different people and I couldn't tell you exactly who, just because it's all like in there somewhere. But you don't want to just be a spreadsheet millionaire. You want to actually be a millionaire if that's your goal. And there's a difference. A different thing is required to conceptually be successful and then actually be successful. It's one thing to write a sales pitch. It's another thing to sit down and me give you a sales pitch and you actually buy from me. It's everyone loves an idea, but then to really see if it's a good idea, try to get money from that person that said it was a good idea, because then you know if it's a really good idea. But if you're not in the business world, if you're not making money, it's just a hobby.
Ooh, I love that.
That's a Dave Ramsey quote.
I love that. If you're not making money, it's just a hobby.
Yeah.